I've not used this before, so I'm just trying it out.
Like the old times, we'll hit pause and then hit a rewind. You wanna come over, just like the old days, and we'll watch the time just fly. Hey buddy, no strangers here. These times I hold them dear. My door's open, so come on in. This was great, let's do it again. Like the old days, and we'll watch the time just fly. Do you wanna come over? Just like the old times, we'll hit pause and then hit rewind. You wanna come over? Just like the old days, and we'll watch the time just fly.
Woo! It's Yo Joe and roll out, because we're talking about G.I. Joe and Transformers. Now that is more than meets the eye. Come on. I am so pumped. I'm so excited. In fact, Nate, I'll say this. It's brought me right back to my childhood, because I have not been this excited for a toy since I was a kid. So I've only gone and grabbed the best hat ever for this occasion. I'm just going to propel this into a whole new level. Anyway, worth it. Worth it. How are you, Nate?
I'm excellent. How are you, buddy?
Pumped. I'm jazzed. Like a transformer. I'm jazzed. Let's see who's dropped into the chat. Johnny's brought in the Cigars. If that doesn't make sense, it should. It's a Transformer reference. How are you, Johnny? Kiwi's here. Ooh, it's going to be a good one tonight. I don't know if it's going to be a good one, but it's definitely happening. Michael and Mercy with the Sarge, Leatherneck, and Kup. What a triple threat. Oh, yeah. They're the tag team Terminators. Daredevil Dave, how are you? Throwing down the first like. Sup, everybody. Thanks, buddy. We do appreciate it when people throw in a like for us. And Lilith is here. Hello, gentlemen. Hello to you, too. Phil! How are you, buddy? Treasures for Trigger for TTT. That's a lot of tea. I do like tea. And Kenny, what's up, fellas? How are ya, Kenny? Oh, mate. I know you said before we started that you were excited for me when you saw this pop up. And I can't explain in true words how happy and excited I was to see this toy. It is the best combination. We're going to go through. I've got some slides. I don't usually put a lot of work into these shows, but I've got a lot of slides today. Some slides I've gotten from the internet. Some slides I got from 3D Joe's, the best place to go for all your stuff, G.I. Joe. Nate, you want to explain to us what this show's all about in general?
This show is basically Zazel introducing me to a bunch of G.I. Joe characters, or one G.I. Joe character every week, because my G.I. Joe knowledge is severely lacking.
Well, it's a little bit better than before, and you know what they say?
No.
Because knowing is half the battle.
Space Commando.
Knowing is half the battle. I cut you off. You were going to say the words, but Space Commander dropped in just to say them for us. I do want to say we do have a 1 hour time for today's episode, because TJC has got a premiere coming up after this show to do with Cobra Convergence. What are we up to? 8 years of Cobra Convergence.
Check it out one time, won't you?
I love clips. Clips are so good. But his link should be in here, right there. There it is. So that's where we'll be jumping on right after this. Oh, Photo Viper is here. Good morning, guys. 3 a.m. here in Cali. Oh, man. Finally cooling down from this heat wave. I guess it must, what's the coolest part of the day? It's got to be around 3 a.m. now, right? But thanks for tuning in, buddy. We appreciate it. Thank you. All right, so how have you been, buddy? You went on a toy excursion.
Yeah, I went down to Newcastle to the Collecticon. It was the first one that they've had down there in the entertainment center. It was pretty awesome. About 150 odd tables, I think they said. Yeah, picked up probably too many toys.
No such thing. No such thing.
No such thing. I keep getting told there's too many, but
Yeah, don't believe it. It's all lies. Nodsy is here with a couple of beers. Cheers to you. And on the other end of that spectrum is G-Force Racing 20, turning that corner in at number 1. Nothing like my Monday morning cuppa with an O-Ringer Bell crew. Hey, everyone. I also have a cuppa. I got a coffee because I'm staying up late tonight to watch TJC's, who's also popped in. TJC, I did put the link to your premiere coming in right after this show. And it's freezing where Lilith is right now. Oh, well, there you go. All right. Now let's jump into some toys, shall we?
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. Perfect toy. End the show. Let's go. Look at it.
Yeah. I love all these Transformer crossovers things that are happening. I've got the Jurassic Park one up above on top of that cupboard behind me.
Yeah.
And I've got the Hiss Megatron coming in the mail, which
it's on its way. Which you got for a steal, a bargain.
Yes.
But before we get into this, you know what I need to do?
You gotta do the thing.
I gotta do the thing.
It's time for everyone's favorite educational program. Oh, ring a bell.
Ding, 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 ding. Yay! So what we're looking at here is the best toy that is to be produced and hopefully in my hands. Now, we had a discussion in our group chat about whether or not I needed 3 or 4 of these. I know I'm probably going to get more than 4 because I have that slaughtered disorder. But 4 was... What's that?
I think the count was 7.
7 maybe cap it at 7. Adam suggested that 4 was the magic number because it was 1 to keep in the box, sealed, all right? 1 to open entirely, so everyone's getting out of their bubbles and out of their wrap and all that stuff. But then you need to have 1 where you've got it's open, but you're displaying Sarge and Leatherneck on card. But you also have to have Kup in his robot mode and then Kup in his Triple T mode. So it's going to be around 4. But let's just for safety just keep buying them.
Yeah. Just
so we can. So every single possibility is looked at. Shannon's here. I can't wait to get it either. Right? Oh, it's so good. Now I liked. Oh, look at that. Now to meet Sgt Slaughter again for another autograph and Ron Rudat. Yep, and I got to meet Sarge.
One to get signed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got to get a signed one. That's right. Met Sarge last year. Ron Rudat's on the list. But we've had Ron Rudat on the show before, not this show, but on the Welcome to the Slaughterhouse show. So I've been able to have a conversation with the good old Ron Rudat. The second most famous Ron in G.I. Joe, I think, is Ron Rudat. Anyway, you're welcome. You're welcome, TJs. Now, this is a great... I love the box. I've got the box up there of Bumblebee and Stalker. Careful. I do have the Megatron one. This is the Bumblebee. Now, with Bumblebee, they kept some of the yellow, but on Kup, they've decided to go more of a green color, which I think is great. Triple T green. I have the Megatron one too, which you just ordered for a steal. And my brother went and picked up Soundwave for me. So
you're all in.
I have to be. I was only going to get the Megatron one, and that was going to be it, right? Because I was like, I need a Hiss tank, and I need a Baroness, so this is a easy win.
Yeah.
But then rumors of Kup as a Triple T was coming out. It's like, oh, well, I got to get all of them now. I'm a sucker for that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're getting to that too, Todd. So favorite Joe, yep, and favorite Transformer toy from the movie. Yeah. It's like it was made for me. Now, some people probably think, now I'm biased because I love the Sarge, obviously, right? Here's a little bit of history, Nate. I love the Sarge. I don't know if you knew that.
I've heard
and
rumors.
the rumors are true. Sarge and I are basically best friends. Leatherneck, I didn't have Sergeant Slaughter as a kid, as much as I tried. I had another mustachioed Marine instead, and that was Leatherneck. So Leatherneck was my Marine. And one day I came home from school and Mum said, go look under your pillow, which is one of those things, right? And it was where she would hide toys sometimes under our pillow. So I came in and had a look under my pillow, and there it was, Autobot Kup, the best Transformer for me from Transformers the movie. I loved Kup. I love the character. Yeah, he is. He's so awesome. Yeah. And you got to watch out for those Petro rabbits. And you're absolutely right there. He does look less hollow. Oh, you know what I can do? Let's do just a quick 360 view on Kup and the guys. I'll just take us off screen for a sec. Have a quick look at this. Yeah, he does look good. It does look good, and it looks less hollow than the other ones do. I think like Megatron's okay, but does have his hollow points, and same with Bumblebee. Bumblebee is a little bit more hollow for me, and I find Bumblebee to also be a little loose in the joints. A little bit too loose in the joints for me. That's just my experience with that one. They may be okay if you have it. Yeah, Bumblebee's pretty good. Don't get me wrong; he's pretty good, but mine's just a bit loose. And yeah, he does need that cigar for real. And yes, Mark Potter, great guy. I love Mark. He's probably as big, if not bigger, fan of the Sarge I am. He can make me a custom Kelly figure. It's pretty easy if you've got Baroness to make an easy custom to go with it. Michael Mersey here with the fist bump. Right back at you. Perfect mashup. All right, let me throw that picture back up because we've got some more slides. We've got more slides. So what I like about this, I don't know how familiar you are with the Triple T, but I like, and it's actually it's instantaneously created a win for the use of the weapons, which is he's using the side guns from the Triple T as his firearms. If they sort of detached from that round circle part, that would have been a little better maybe. But maybe if you put one on the top of his fist and one on the bottom of his fist, they can have like a forked gun looking thing. That'll be pretty cool too.
Yeah,
but I like
interesting.
Me as Springer, I don't think I have that kind of pep in my step to be Springer. I need to be someone more slow and lazy. Maybe Omega Supreme, slow and lazy.
Maybe a rock.
So Bumblebee uses the gun from the Ore Striker, which is also a great idea. But the Megatron one, he's got his fusion cannon, which is like an added thing to his tank, which I think is great. But it's probably because you've got to have Megatron with the fusion cannon. I'm not sure what Soundwave has as far as weapons concerned. Todd, you're going to have to let me know. Yeah, but love that toy. Oh, so good.
It looks good. It looks awesome.
I do think it looks awesome. I think the green to match the Triple T green is a great idea. These are robots in disguise, right? They don't have to be the color that they are. I understand if you're going to run around calling yourself Bumblebee, you might want to add some yellow. But I think that they were able to disguise the yellow, except for the back of the Ore Striker. You can pretty much disguise the yellow, but it's not a big deal, right? It's not a big deal what color the Transformer is because it is a robot in disguise. It doesn't have to be the color that it originally was. It doesn't even have to be the same vehicle that it was. It can be any vehicle it wants. It's literally a robot in disguise. I mean, Soundwave used to be a side of the road thing, like a lamp, maybe? I don't know. I can never figure out what he was. He's got the front miniguns. Perfect. Yeah. So the guns that are on the engine block. Perfect.
Nice.
Kiwi did a great custom figure of Kelly Slaughter. Check out his channel for that one in Marauders colors. Oh, mate, that would be awesome. You don't have to send me your only custom, but if you do make a second one, I'd gladly take it. I think if anyone would want that, if not me, probably Kelly herself. But yeah, let's look at some more pictures before I could get lost in this one. We'll sit on this for a sec because I just want to say the Sgt Slaughter figure himself, while it does look like the Triple T Sarge, it's actually a more colors accurate one from the movie and G.I. Joe in general, the cartoon, where it's got the brown campaign cover and the camo pants, whereas the Triple T one had a green campaign cover, but the cartoon has the brown. I'll show some images later. The swagger stick now has that little bit on the end there, which is the purpose of it, I guess, is like to hang off of something. I don't know. Like, I'm not a military person. Salute those that do. What's that?
Looks like the end of a crowbar.
It could be, but I think it's like ordinarily I think it would have a loop at the bottom that you could hold or hang.
Oh, yeah.
I'm no military expert, but in this case it's non-functional, so it's just a little bit of decoration on the end, which is great. However, I know that the plastic on this one's a little bit, well, on most of these, if not all of them, the plastic on the hands are a little bit more manageable, but they're not going to break like the original ones were. So the swagger stick from the original one, which is easily lost, you would just sort of slip it into the hand so you didn't break the thumbs. Yeah, leather strap to swing it. Exactly. I don't know if it's going to have a removable hat. I don't think so. But one of the first pictures I saw of it looked like the glasses might be removable, but I don't think that's, the loop. But I don't think that's true either.
Yeah, I'd hope that they're not removable because that's just the first thing that to get lost.
Right, exactly. Oh, but so cool. Now, in the cartoon, he would often have his campaign cover removed, but never, ever did his glasses ever come off. Those aviators never came off in the cartoon. Leatherneck looks great, arguably better than the original, which I'll have a closer look in a minute. But his gun is in a green color now instead of the original black or gray. We'll have a look in a sec. Either way, it wasn't green before that, but it's not a deal breaker. But this 3 combination here is like a win-win-win. It's a win-win-win. Because I had Leatherneck, I had Kup, and love Sarge. So, I mean, Bumblebee or should have been Beachcomber. I understand that if it was the Eco Striker, because they could do it. Just repaint it. Just repaint it. Make it do it again. Do it again, but in different colors. All right, let's have a look at a different picture. And now I'm gushing my way through this, Nate. If you want to jump in and tell me to shush for a sec, or you have an opinion, please do.
All right.
All right, next picture. So good. It's so good. And it's so close to how the Triple T looks. So the original Triple T, let me just have a sip. Let's add caffeine to the mix. So the original Triple T, the original designs by Ron Rudat, in fact, and Leatherneck is modeled after the look of Ron Rudat, but everyone knows that, knowing it's half the battle. But the Triple T looked like a jet fighter cockpit, right, without wings and stuff. And I imagine that Sarge just cobbled this stuff together as a necessity to get from point A to point B. He doesn't need a tank; he just has a tank, right? He's the real tank. It looks like probably due to the transformation that the swagger stick will retract, or in the movement of parts will be shifted somewhere else. Shifted, get it? Shifted. Anyhow, it doesn't look like it could break off easily like the first one did. It's still got the original designs on there, the configuration of numbers and letters on the side, Sgt Slaughter there in text on the side as well, the G.I. Joe sticker, the star, the USA, but we've added, for extra disguise, the Autobot symbol on the front, which pushes the flag in the middle. Yeah, so it's not really in disguise at this point.
They should have done the heat rub stickers.
Yeah. See, I loved that about the Transformers, is that they did have the ability to hide their affiliations. But yeah, agreed. No, he doesn't need any help against Maggotron. He'll take him on. So the guns, the missiles, all look appropriate, all look right. The treads don't move. The original one didn't either. It's got wheels on the bottom, but that's fine. I couldn't even imagine how they would make those treads work, but I'm no engineer, so I don't know. But on the original one, the engine cover would come off, right? And you could have a look at the engine. And this one looks like it's got hinge points or pin points, and due to transformation will fold in and fold out and all of the good stuff. So I'm not sure what will be underneath it, but I will say this: it doesn't look hollow, and I like that. Now I don't have it on hand, obviously. I don't know, the reality of the situation will be, but it does look great. Leatherneck in this pose looks great. Do you know why they added Leatherneck?
Not sure.
I'll tell you. So a lot of the promotional images, like whenever they showed toy catalogs and stuff, they'd always sort of put Leatherneck on the side of it. He's on the side of the box of the original Triple T too. So in pretty much in this configuration, but facing the other direction. So it makes sense to throw them together as a twin pack. I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I'd love the slaughterhouse. That would be so cool. Yeah, even if they did like a slaughterhouse, like a builder figure, but with a builder playset, you just got bits and pieces of cobbled together garbage. But yeah, looks good.
Yeah, I dig it.
So that's the original box. So that's you would have in the bubble there. This is taken from 3D Joe's. You'd have Sarge in the bubble there. In the box that we showed just a moment ago, that's just got the pictures on the side to represent a bubble, but that's not really a bubble shown there. In this instance, they would have had him right there, front and center, front and slightly to the side. You have been able to see in Sarge, and as you can see, I mean, it looks pretty much like the transforming one. They've nailed it. They've nailed it.
Yeah. Not having my own Triple T, to hold up against the pictures, but it looks exactly like that. The new one looks exactly like that on the box. I'm actually really impressed with the amount of detail they've managed to capture in the vehicles and still make them into a transformer.
Yeah, I agree.
Because these things, they have to look like the thing they're trying to be, and that they'd be heavily criticized if they looked too different, and they just I think they've nailed them.
Yeah, I agree. And again, I am biased, right? So excuse me if I gush over this thing, but as a Sarge fan too, I know what I want and I know what I like. And I've always wanted when I was a kid, I always wanted an O-ring Sarge. Could never find him. The only one I could find, which I never got, was the Marauders one. And if you've seen the Marauders one, you know why. Rolando, good morning. But I do know that because I've got so many Sergeant Slaughter action figures, Nate, I've got like over 400 of them. I do know, for me personally, if they were going to create another Sarge, bring it out with the Triple T. That's great. Have it on a card. This would be like technically the third to come out on a card if you count the Marauders, the 2006 convention exclusive one. This will be the third one that comes out on a card, but it's an all new sculpt and in different colors, which is what I was also hoping for. I was hoping for, and thankfully got the Sambo colors. And while it is enough like the Triple T Sarge where you'll be all right and happy with it, you'll be like, yep, I got a Triple T and I've got the Sarge now, great. But it's so much like Sunbow now. Oh yeah, I get it. I'm a bit slow. Oh yeah, and a Night Force Sergeant Slaughter would be good too, or a Mega Marine Sarge. That was almost criminal that he wasn't part of the Mega Marines. but he was probably out of it by then. Kup looks awesome, and he needs to be, not to be overshadowed by too much by Sarge, who's one of the most popular characters. Right, so, Nate, now I know you probably agree with me anyway, but I'm going to give you an argument as to why Kup's a perfect choice, right?
Okay. Lay it on me.
So here's Kup. Now I would say, and I had this toy and I love it. Part of it was die cast, in fact, but you can see that the shape of it, particularly in the front, is not too dissimilar from the Triple T. They call him Kup because he's a pickup truck. We know pickup trucks here as Ute. Any other names that we'd call it?
No.
Just a Ute, right? Just a Ute. Yeah. Matthew's here. How are you, Matthew? Good to see you, buddy. If I've missed anyone because I've been gushing over these photos, I apologize. But not too dissimilar in the silhouette. Is not too dissimilar in shape, right? I would say. Now, fair enough.
The artwork and on the box, and you look at the new Kup actually transformed. It's got that big bulky chest. It looks the part.
You can see in the toy here, he's more of a blue than he is a green, and the robot form has a bit more of a green. But yeah, I think that looks enough like the Triple T that it's not too dissimilar in shape. Not that, again, we've argued before that they don't have to be the same vehicle. And then, now you might be thinking, why would this guy be teaming up with Sarge? Now, let me tell you why this guy would be teaming up with Sarge. Because they're actually pretty similar. And not just because they point their fingers. In both G.I. Joe the movie and Transformers the movie, both of these grizzled veterans and tough and gruff guys are also, on the flip side of that, they have a lot of time for the people that are coming up through the ranks, right? And they can see where people may be like push them to the side or think of them as losers and lowlives and not worth the hassle. These guys can see the leadership capabilities and the true heroism through spending some time with them and having that belief in them. For Kup, that was Hot Rod. He believed that he had the power to lead. And throughout G.I. Joe the movie, unfortunately after the movie, he sort of just keeps resetting back to, I can't be a leader. But Kup was probably, even though Kup was a bit hard on him, Kup was the kind of mentor that and he says at the end, I knew you had potential. So he might be a bit, hey, look who it is. A sneaky hello from space. Well, the Mutons aren't looking. Mutons. I was calling them muttons for too long. But Spacey, good to see you. I'll fly up and see you with my helicopter hat. But yeah, he's also known as Sergeant Kup. But the way that his mentorship of Hot Rod and trying to see him, because a lot of people blame Hot Rod for the death of Optimus Prime, and a lot of people blamed Falcon. And in Falcon's case, he deserved the blame, but he got the blame and was sent to the slaughterhouse for the injuries of 3 G.I. Joes because of not being at his post, right? So instead of writing them off entirely, oops, I'm surprised I haven't said it more. But he's, but in both cases, I've lost my train of thought. But in both cases, they don't give up on them, right? They push them to the limits, and make sure that they're coming out the other end as either superior leadership capabilities of Rodimus Prime and the heroicism of Lieutenant Falcon at the end.
Yeah. So
see ya, buddy.
They both whip the young whippersnappers into shape.
They do. And through this image here, you can see while Kup was a little bit unsure what Hot Rod's motives were when he was jetting down in this scene, he came out and he made sure that he before asking any question, he kicked ass before asking questions. Right, he made sure that they were relatively safe, and then made sure that they got back to Autobot City and safe and sound. So that's why I think they're both a good choice. Kup wasn't quite as aggressive as Sergeant Slaughter was against Lieutenant Falcon, but I think Lieutenant Falcon needed that tough love, and I think Hot Rod just needed that guidance. In both instances, though, unfortunately, after the movies, they sort of went a little bit downhill again. But that's okay. That's life, right? That happens in life. Sometimes you think you're getting somewhere. Sometimes you got to take 2 steps back to take 3 steps forward, or whatever the saying is. But then we thought we'd have a look at this is the back of the box of the original Triple T, and it's quite good. I think we're going to go to the next slide for a more detailed understanding of what some of this stuff is. With the blueprints for the Triple T. Do you want to read some of this out for us? Can you read it okay?
Yeah, okay. He's the Sergeant Slaughter with Triple T. Reinforced inner mesh track propulsion system. Double bogey track supports, forward-facing vertical finned intercooler, raked nylon micromesh armor, Super Duty bonded titanium nylon micromesh armor, slaughter-sized command seat. That's a hefty seat.
Yep.
Power operated turret-mounted 30mm cannons, automatic cannon stabilization system, MGM-79 heat high explosive anti-tank missile, AGT 950 HP horsepower turbine engine, specially hardened engine cover armor, and personnel transportation platform.
Yeah, so basically 2 people can stand on the side. And then obviously Sarge in the cockpit. What an interesting toy. Like, I know the original designs for it was a little bit more crazy. Like some of the designs also had like big wheels on them, like Bigfoot wheels. But I like the treads. And again, like I understand why some people don't like the Triple T, but I think a lot of that is retroactively as adults looking back on it and going, doesn't have a windshield. He's exposed to enemy fire. Sarge doesn't care, right? I think Sarge doesn't care about the Triple T. He probably cares a bit more about it now if it's a sentient being. But I think in most cases, that's just for him to get from point A to point B, right? It's got a couple of rockets. It's got some guns on the side. But more often than not, he's leaping out of that thing into the thick of battle anyway. So it's just a way for him to get from point A to point B. It's probably dirty and grimy and bellows out smoke. It's probably very bad for the environment. It's got a tow hook though, so if you need to tow something, he can do it. Yeah, Sarge is bulletproof, but you can't complain about having an open cockpit for the Triple T, right? Which that would be enemy fire will get you, but guess what? The Ore Striker is not much better, right? What has that got?
Yeah, it's
all
a
open.
dune buggy.
It's a dune buggy. It's literally all open, guys. Come on. So I think retroactive
dune buggy.
I mean, it is a great dune buggy. Don't get me wrong. But then you've got people hate on the Havoc. Like, that's a great toy. It's got a hovercraft. It's so what? It's got a big open seat on the top. Kids don't care. It's a great toy. It's a great toy.
Yeah.
I do have the original box, thankfully. I did pick one up after the fact. And I think the next one is Hawk and Prime. I think that is true. But I'll wait until I see it. Even though it's short in length, it has a large profile. Pretty big target. Yeah. But that's okay. Move on to the next slide. Oh yeah, I got this one. You know why?
Why?
Because this is the part in G.I. Joe the movie where it says it's perfect, and which is my opinion of this toy. It's also perfect. And we're going to look at. I took this from the internet. You can see from the watermarks on there. I do not own this image. I did not take this image. I was nowhere near this event, SDCC, to take this photo. So I've borrowed it. But yeah, so this cup, if we can have a look at, I'll just take it back a few moments to when we looked at the original toy. Give me one moment, please. So you can see it's a bit more blue here, blue and gray. Definitely leaning more into the gray and the grayish blue. And thankfully, here they've decided to go, okay, we're going to keep the green from the Triple T, which I think is a great idea. I'm not saying that it wouldn't have looked good with the gray and the blue, but I think giving it a bit of a bit more.
They've kept like the part of his arms and his legs that blue gray, and the top of his head. So that's a good nod to the original.
Oh yeah,
but also him character wise, he would not be too precious about his paint scheme anyway.
Right. Yeah, agreed.
That's why he's like that blue gray. It's just like he's not going to want a fancy, paint job like Hot Rod. He's old school. He's paints to stop your body from rusting.
Uh-huh. I agree. And Phil, look at those abs. Cup's got the abs. He is looking good. So he loses the front. Oh, have a good day at work, GeForce. If you want us to ring in sick for you, if you want to take the day off, we will ring your boss for you. That is a service that we provide. Happy to do that for you. Let me know. We'll ring in sick for you. You can spend the day at home. So the due to transformation, and I can't wait to get my hands on it so I can sort of fiddle around with it. West Space Commander. I just said it's funny. But he does have another Autobot symbol on his shoulder, which is great. Oh, Sonny is here. How are you, Sonny? And as you can see, he's holding those Triple T cannons as weapons. Great idea. Perfect. I will try to see if you can hold them in one hand. So one under the hand, one over the hand, like a forked gun. I don't know what you would call that, but
it's the bullet sprinkler.
Yeah. That's what you call it, bullet sprinkler. I think it looks a lot more sturdier than the Bumblebee does. I think Megatron's pretty good. Don't get me wrong, Megatron's pretty good. I haven't really had a good go at Soundwave yet, but this one looks more chunky. Mm.
Yeah, when he
is a chunky boy.
Yeah, like Kup there, he's well proportioned. Like,
you know what I also noticed? I've also just noticed that the Ore Striker, unless you're looking at the back of it where you see the Bumblebee parts, you can't really see any Autobot symbol on it. The Bumblebee parts that hang out the back of it, which is those parts, his chest piece, that's the only time you've seen Autobot symbol is because that chest piece hangs out the back, which I just thought was due to transformation. They couldn't hide it anywhere else. Megatron also doesn't have a Decepticon symbol on his tank. I don't know about Soundwave. I have to have a futz around with him. But Megatron, you sort of have to cover his face with a removable panel. This one seems to be more sort of traditional Transformers where everything is encompassed inside it. And it seems to be leaning more into the combination.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to remedy that Decepticon logo lack thereof on my Megatron. I got stickers.
Yeah. I had to, because you voiced Megatron in the Slaughterhouse Wrestling Championship. I actually had to add a really bad animation of the logo appearing onto Megatron. I have a feeling that GeForce Racing 20 is working from home. I reckon that because that's too quick. That's too quick a commute. He's got up off the lounge and he's now in the study. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Phil. Yes, so there's one on Cup's arm. So that's what I'm saying, right? In both modes, you're going to get an Autobot symbol. You get it front and center on the Triple T, which I actually like. I think that's great. Because if I want just a Triple T, I've got a Triple T. If I just want a Triple T one, but this is an Autobot Triple T, so I do want the Autobot symbol on it. And I like that through transformation, you lose that initial one, but you gain one in the arm. I like that. It's like a patch. Love it. Scotty's here. How are you, Scott? Your table buddy.
Yeah. We got to hang out on the weekend. It was awesome.
And even though I went back to flip through the slides, I'm almost certain the next slide is Kup in Transformers G1. There he is. So they keep some of the profile the same. So you got the windshield there in white, kind of matches the white of the Triple T in this shot. And obviously the legs in grey, sort of a bit of a carryover. But most of the Q points, I don't know if that's a real term or not, but most of the touching points for Kup, I think, exist. Right? You've got the head shape. That's pretty good. That's pretty accurate. And I would argue that this is probably the best Kup head sculpt we've seen in a while. The last couple of ones weren't that great. But I think that looks good. The legs and the forearms, not too bad. Pretty similar. But again, he's not trying to be this pickup truck. He's trying to be a Triple T. I'd love it if they had like a little bit of a backstory around it too. Like, give us a little story. Give us something.
Yeah, it would be cool. Like, what if they just did like a little run of like mini cartoons or something? Just like little 10 or 5-minute episodes, even just released out on the internet, and just give you a little story, like what's going on here.
Or old style commercials, right, where they just have the toys.
Yep.
The USA logo in front of Kup reminds me of the mail away Sargatron with USA on the front. You are right. I agree. That does give that is a good callback to the USA Sarge from the mail away. Good thinking. I agree. Yeah, shove a mini comic in there. That's right. Thanks, Phil. My mouse has stopped stopped working for me. But yeah, I agree, Phil. I'd highlight your comment if I could. All right, come on, mouse, do your thing. Yeah, do that. Yeah, both of you do that. Good call, twinsies. Let's move on to the next. Yeah, shove it in there. Move on to the next slide so we can get to TJC's. So there he is in vehicle mode. I love this toy so much. You couldn't really put anything in the back without it sliding off when he took off, though. But that's okay. One of the better designs, I think, from that era. I liked him better than Rodimus Prime. My brother had Hot Rod and Rodimus Prime, and I thought that this robot mode and this vehicle mode was better, personally. But so good.
Yeah, I haven't got one in my G1 collection yet, but I've bid on a few over the years on eBay and stuff, but never quite managed to nail one down. But I'll get there. It's not like he's a rare figure or anything, so it's just
I think I had the original one, but I know that they brought out a Target Master one that had a transforming weapon. I think I had just the original version one, not the Target Master. That's his original look from the box art of the toy. And yeah, again, I think good choice. And not too out of what they did with the, if I can, where did I put that box again? Where did I put that box? Over here somewhere. So the look of Kup here is not too dissimilar from how he looks on his box.
Yeah.
Like similar enough that it's a good callback.
Yeah.
The reissue did come with Wheelie, and then they repainted him as Orion Pax and made Wheelie Dion. That was interesting. All right, so let's have a look at the card. Again, I do not own this image. It was taken from the internet, and you can see from the watermark who owns this photo. Again, I was nowhere near this event. Had I been at this event, I would have walked away with this and possibly been put in the Slammer house. I definitely would not have been able to walk away from it. But as you can see, I wish they'd used the Adam Riches art. This art, I think that they used this art for the 25th anniversary, and I remember seeing a fan picture of this pose before that came out. But anyway, this was a reuse, and the Adam Riches art from the G.I. Joe Classified Sarge is so good. I wish that they'd reused it here. He comes with the stand, the battle stand at the bottom there, which is a great inclusion.
Yeah.
And that hefty swagger stick. But I don't know, something about this image made me think that the glasses might be removable. I don't think that they are, but I was looking at this image for so long that I went cross-eyed, more so than usual.
Yeah.
So I could start making up stuff.
I reckon they're sculpted.
Yeah, I mean, they probably are. But I do love the it's a great callback to the original Triple T Sarge, but it's on card, which is great. Like, you've never been able to get any Sarge of this caliber on card. You only had the ridiculous Marauder Sarge, which I've come to love, even though I do think it is ridiculous. The skin tone on this guy is way better than the Marauder Sarge, which I say looks like mannequin, supermarket mannequin skin. It's a little bit pinkish, but that's okay. No boot marks on the side of the boots. Actually, it has a two-tone boot, so it's both brown and black on the boot, but he didn't have the chevron designs anyway on the side of the Triple T or the cartoon. He only had that for the mail away. Oh, turn hut. Damn right. Somebody's cool. Lilith. Wasn't that cool? I never a Kup transformer. I wasn't that cool, but I had Triple T. So does that mean half cool? It makes you all the way cool.
Yeah,
all the way cool. So I like that they've actually utilized quite a bit of paint applications here. So they've got the whistle. So I'm trying to remember if the original. I think the original one was all just black, right? They didn't paint the whistle. I think it's all black. I would put money on that. So they painted the whistle itself as well as the loop. If they've painted the back, because his aviators have not his aviators, of course they don't. That's ridiculous. His campaign cover has the strap going on the back of the head sculpted on there. If they've painted that a different color, I will be very happy. What else have they got? They got paint on the swagger stick. They got paint on the wristbands, which is great. You'd think that they wouldn't ever exclude paint on the wristbands, but Marauder Sarge again does that.
We do better.
The belt buckle, the hat, the I think that's a chevron on the hat, and again two-tones on the boot and the camo pattern. This is just a perfect tool. A perfect Sarge.
They didn't cut corners on the paint apps. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and obviously the aviators as well, and the mustache, of course, and the mo. Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
This is probably if this doesn't become my favorite Sarge to just mess around with, I'll be very surprised. And I know I'm going to get a couple of them anyway because I'm crazy like that. But I'm so glad that it's like close enough to the Triple T Sarge that people go, "Yep, great," but is a different color palette to what I already own, which means it's new. It's new stuff. It's not just newly sculpted. It's not just newly released or re-released. This is new. It's a new toy. Can you tell that I like it?
Yeah, it's a very good move in terms of collectors, because collectors are going to want the new thing, the different thing. It's not like when they did the Star Wars re-release. Like retro figures, where people were getting them and they're supposed to be exactly the same as the original ones, but then they just like picking them apart, saying, "Oh, well, this isn't as good a quality," or this blah 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 blah. This is a new figure.
Oh yeah,
there's nothing to really like. It's not trying to be anything other than itself.
And I like that. You can have a cartoon accurate Sarge as well.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see what they did with the whistle on the Marauders Sarge. Where is he? I think it might just be all black. Could be wrong. Let me have a look. I'm Googling it. I think it's all just black. Google doesn't want to work for me. There's the badge and the hat painted gold. It looks gold to me.
Yeah, it does. Looks that way.
Yeah, brown hat. It's a campaign cover. Don't call it a hat. No, I don't know. No. So the original color was green, but that was not cartoon accurate, because in the cartoon he had the brown campaign cover, but they gave him a green one for the Triple T Sarge. So I'm happy that it is a brown one, because the closest you could get as a kid, I guess, to a cartoon accurate Sgt Slaughter was to take the head off the mail away one and put it on the Triple T Sarge. This is way better, and opens it up to be able to make more Sarges in the future. I would like it if they did another Sarge that was like all black and his all black wrestling gear, which he did for a little while. I think in his AWA days. And what other costumes? When he had a camo jacket. Give me a camo jacket, Sarge. Do it. Yeah, those things are hard to find. But I reckon Adam could probably 3D print a few of you for you. Phil? Would I rather removable or part of sculpt? So that's a good question too. The Warthog Sarge, I absolutely cannot stand that removable campaign cover. In fact, I don't use it. It doesn't have that lemon squeezer look on the top of it. It's like very bulbous, and that's to fit his noggin, right?
Yeah.
So instead, I don't even bother using that hat. Instead of the campaign cover, I use a helmet from Sergeant Savage, and that looks really cool. It's got a chevron on the front of it. That is really cool for that version, the Warthog Sarge. Yeah, the Tiger Force Sarge would be cool. Like, just give us whatever they do. If they don't give us any more O-ring Sarges, well, I'll be so happy with this. I'll be over the moon with this. But if they do give us more, well, then give us new stuff. Give us new stuff. Make it different. Make it different somehow. Whether it be Tiger Force, yeah, that'd be cool. Mega Marines or something. Either way.
Nice Force.
Yeah, nice Force, exactly. Give him a nice cup of tea or something. So here is the Leatherneck, and again, this was the only GI Joe in this 2-pack that I actually did own. So I had 2 out of 3 of these figures as a kid, Kup and Leatherneck, and I think we should do a spotlight episode on Leatherneck at a later date. But I just thought I'd show you the difference between this one.
I've seen a few pictures of Leatherneck on various things. That's very close to the original artwork, isn't it? On the card there.
Let's take a look. Very close.
Yep.
Very close.
Yeah.
Ooh.
The spotlight episode would be good. He's a pretty popular, and yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say he's a pretty popular character, and I know that he's like his sculpt was based on Ron Rudak, and that. So it'd be cool to see all his variations. Because I haven't seen them.
I almost forget about Leatherneck too, but he's a great Joe, and the card. I would even say that the card art, while it's obviously the same art, I do like that they've it's sort of back a bit, like you fit a bit more of it on there.
Yeah,
only marginally more, but. And they've gone back. It's the explosion one. We haven't got the explosion card art for Leatherneck. That was the digital pattern that they had for him originally. So that's pretty cool that now you've got the original explosion background. The rifle, I don't know if that's the correct term for the weapon that he has, but the weapon that he has is in green here, whereas this one is gray. And I think that if anyone's going to make a complaint at all, it'll be for that, right?
Yeah.
But I would say even the sculpt on this one is superior, and that's I don't know. Like it's tough, but I mean that looks great, but that looks badass.
Yeah, it's very human.
It looks tough as nails. GeForce Racing saying, riding my BMX to places that would horrify my mother. You and me both, mate. You and me both. My brothers and I used to go to, because we lived in a mining town, and we used to go to the local tip. We didn't tell our parents we were going to the local tip, right? And we would just go sifting through all the cool silos and stuff they had. We jumped inside the silo and we found what looked like mattresses. So we put those all down. And we're just chilling out in there. We tell our dad, we're like, Dad, we're too excited not to say where we were, right? We jumped inside the silo and we grabbed all of these mattress things. And he goes, that could have been a cyanide silo. And I'm almost certain that that's not a mattress. It's what's that stuff called? That's bad. You know, they're putting the ceilings and stuff. Asbestos. Because I reckon it's asbestos. Stop playing there. I was like, all right, that's a good argument. That's a good argument.
Yeah.
Man. Woo. Fiberglass. What? Yeah. That was silly. Won't do that again. Anyway, that's gone through all our slides. Nate, thank you for indulging me in this one. I know I talk a lot, but I talked a lot today, and I appreciate you sitting there and just letting me gush over this thing.
It's all good, man. It's the excitement is contagious. I wouldn't be surprised if one of these finds its way into my collection at some point.
Well, I think Phil makes a really good comment here where he said, cool that these come on card backs. Hasbro could have just shoved these figures in the box. Yeah, definitely. And I do think that it's a great idea to have what is a simulation of the figurine on the front of the box, because, you know, thieves out there will just grab the bubble and take the toy out. So this is a good win-win situation. It's like, it looks like the bubble. This is a good homage to the bubble, but it's safe and sound inside. And it is extra that these all come on card. You know, we've gotten Baroness, we've got Zorana and Zartan, and we've gotten Stalker. So now we get Sarge and Leatherneck, and you know, I think these, well, for most people, they're not going to replace their originals if you have them, but in some cases, these might be the best way to get not only a Joe vehicle, but also a Transformer and GI Joes. So anyway, I'm happy with that. Oh, thanks, Kiwi. We love you too. Johnny saying contagious, outrageous, transformational. Yeah. Ooh-wee. Nate, while we're rounding out the show, what have you got coming up?
On Wednesday night, we're going to be on I'm going to be on Totally Taylor Retro Hunters live stream. We're going to talk about Collecticon. That was just last weekend. And I think this Saturday might be Zellas with the Fellas on Go Figure, perhaps.
I froze or you froze, but I think you said Zellas with the Fellas. Yeah,
on Saturday, this Saturday coming, I think, maybe. I'm not sure we've got a locked in, but yeah.
As for now, TJC's got a premiere happening right after this show. I was happy to be a part of that show. So do check that out. The link is in the description. I did jump onto Michael Mercy's channel with Gaz, and we got to talk about a episode of G.I. Joe. So if you're not subscribed to Michael Mercy, check that out, because we hung out there talking about our favorite G.I. Joe characters while also talking over a cartoon. It's great fun. Do check out tomorrow morning for me is going to be I'm going to be doing a stream with Space Commander. So check that one out too, because Brian Hickey's hanging out with us to talk about Action Force. And then after that, I'm hanging out with Gaz, and we're going to talk about some more cool Transformer G.I. Joe stuff, and also 5 G.I. Joe squads 5-man squads. But anyway, we better end it here so we can jump over to TJC's video. I'll do the outro. Don't forget, guys, the link is in the description for TJC's premiere happening in about 30 seconds. All right, let's get out of here. Thanks, Nate.
Yo, Joe.
Yo, Joe.
Hey man, no strangers here. These times I hold them dear. Doors open, so come on in. Yeah, that was great. Let's do it again. Do you wanna come over? Just like the old times, we'll hit pause and then hit rewind. You wanna come over? Just like the old days, and we'll watch the time just fly. Do you wanna come over? Just like the old times, we'll hit pause and then hit rewind. You wanna come over? Just like the old days, and we'll watch the time just fly.
Because knowing is half the battle.
Space Commando.